Salat salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Warm greeting our beloved pupils. I hope you are doing well in your preparation for your BM. Welcome on the fifth lesson for your preparation. Today's lesson is dedicated for cause and effect. Okay, cause with as, because, since. Effect with so, therefore, is a result. Now, we start dealing with cause. A cause. To express cause, okay, سببية in Arabic, you want to say, or reason, I can use the following connectors: as, because, and since. They connect the result, effect, or a consequence, نتيجة, of something with its reason, cause, okay? They are connectors. We have reason and we have consequence. We have cause and we have effect. They are connected with those connectors as, because, and since. Example: Nabila wants to Anciano. Why? Because she wants to visit Da Vinci's house. Okay? Why she went to Anciano in Italy? Because she wanted to visit Da Vinci's house. Here, as you can see, in punctuation we don't have comma, okay? We don't have comma because it is in the middle. Now, as Westminster Palace was destroyed by a fire in 1834, we have comma here, it was rebuilt, okay? Rebuilt 6 years later. Whenever we use as in the early beginning of the sentence, okay, we must have a comma in the middle between cause and effect. Okay. The next point, since. Since al-hamra, qas al-hamra, is an Arabic word, comma, it is easy to guess its meaning. Okay, it is easy to guess its meaning. Here we start with since, so we have to put the comma between the two sentences, between the two phrases. Now we try to go deeper because it's more frequent in speaking and writing. Okay, almost everyone knows because in English. When I use it, I'm focusing on the reason. I'm focusing on the cause. However, as and since are more formal than because. When I use them, I'm focusing not on the cause, but I'm focusing more on the result, the effect, the consequences, rather than on the reason. Okay? This is the difference between the usage between because and as and since. The next point is about punctuation. Okay, about punctuation. According to Cambridge Grammar, I can also use the following punctuation depending on the position of the connector in the sentence. It means you can play with the position of the two phrases. Okay, in a comparison with the example given before. Because Nabila wanted to visit Da Vinci's house, she went to Anciano. Here we put the comma. Okay, we put the comma. Why? Because we started because. The other examples, we have Westminster Palace was rebuilt six years later as, okay, no comma, it was destroyed by a fire in 1834. Okay? Because here, the connectors, or the connector here, plays the role of a comma. If we have a connector here, we don't have a comma. But if we have a comma here, it means that we have to start with the connector. The last example, it is easy to guess the meaning of Alhambra, since, okay, no comma, it is an Arabic word. It's an Arabic word. Now let's deal with effect. The second part is effect. Now to express effect, result, consequence, I can use the following connectors. So, therefore, as a result, they connect the reason of something with its result. Okay, they connect the reason of something with its result. Example, Nabila was a fan, okay, she likes, Nabila was a fan of Picasso's paintings, come on, so she went to visit his house in Malaga. Nabila was a fan of Picasso's painting. The result, she went to visit his house in Malaga. Here we have a comma. Nabila was a fan of Picasso's painting and, okay, we have to add and, therefore she went to visit his house in Malaga. Here, when therefore is used with and, there is normally, or usually, there is no comma. Now, at last but not at least, we have Nabila was a fan of Picasso's painting, full stop, okay? As a result, comma, she went to visit his house in Malaga. So what we have here, the last sentence, whenever we use as a result, we have, first of all, full stop, then we have the connector as a result, then we have the comma after as a result, okay? Now let's practice some activity. I match each pair in column A with its corresponding in column B. The first one is already given. We didn't visit the Louvre Museum, okay, it is in Paris. Why? Because we spent only one day in Paris, okay, we didn't have enough time. This is the reason. That's why we didn't visit the Louvre Museum. Now, how about the following phrases? Since the weather was awful, comma, 3 dots. The British Museum was far from my hotel, comma. The weather conditions were terrible, full stop. As I still had enough time, comma, dots. The other parts, what do we have? We have, I decided to stay at home and read a book. Next point, next phrase. As a result, my flight to Algiers was cancelled. Okay. The third one, I decided to go sightseeing around the city. The last one, because the last one is already done. So I took a London cab. It means London taxi. Okay, you can say taxi. You can say cab. Sorry. According to the punctuation, you can answer this activity. Here we have comma, and we started with since. Here we have only comma. Here you have full stop or period, you can call it. Here you have comma. Let's see the correction. So since the weather was awful, okay, the weather was awful, I decided to stay at home and read a book. I decided to stay at home and read a book. Now, the British Museum was far from my hotel, so I took a London cab. The weather conditions were terrible. As a result of that, my flight to Algiers was cancelled, okay? The last, as I still had enough time, I decided to go sightseeing around the city. I decided to go sightseeing around the city. We have another task which is more productive than the first one. Task 2, complete the following sentence in a meaningful way. In a meaningful way. We have, my flight to London was delayed. It means instead of going today, they say come back tomorrow. Okay, delayed. And therefore so what did you, okay, this is the cause. And we are waiting for the result. The food there was awful. As a result, so we decide to do what? Since the weather, now you have more options. Talk about good weather or bad weather. And you go with your result here. My parents gave me enough money for my trip, so what did you do? I didn't buy a present for everyone because, okay, you have to guess the rest of the sentence. The correction of this task, okay, you could have other phrases. My flight to London was delayed and therefore I was obliged to stay another day there. Okay, you can say other things. The food there was awful. As a result, we had to go out and have pizza. Since the weather was wonderful, I went on a picnic with friends of mine. My parents gave me enough money for my trip, so I decided to visit more nice places. I didn't buy a present for everyone. Why? Because I didn't have enough money. Now that's it for today. Till next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.